you for being with us here today, for hosting us in your show. We are very privileged to have the opportunity to speak to you. You are an inspiration to a lot of entrepreneurs out there in the rehabilitation space. So maybe before we start, we can just talk a little bit about you. Sure. Right? You started as a speech therapist. You identified a need that wasn't addressed, basically helping people to grow old and to do so in a dignified manner. I think that's what you live for.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So before we start, share with us a little bit about you.
Well, when I was working as a speech therapist, my job was to tell people what they couldn't eat, and that was pretty depressing. So after doing that many times, I decided that surely there must be a better way out. So I decided to leave the hospital and search for solutions. And it was a really long journey, but eventually I came back to Singapore and I decided to develop food for people with swallowing difficulty. So right now, we've come quite a long way, and we have about 70 dishes locally developed and manufactured right in our factory, so that anybody with stroke, Parkinson's, dementia, or any form of swallowing difficulty can still enjoy their local favorites.
You identified a problem statement.
Yeah.
Basically, you had 3 choices of food: oatmeal for breakfast.
Yep, pretty much.
And then you had fish and vegetable for lunch, right? And fish and vegetable for dinner.
Yep.
And that's why you decided to start Health Food Matters and Health Care Matters, right?
Yes.
And you're the co-founder of the business.
Yes, that's right.
I think you shared with us a little bit earlier on when you were preparing that, about the story about how you decided to make a change in people's lives, especially with food. Could you share that story with us?
Okay. One day I was, doing my rounds as usual, and I came across this old lady, about 80 years old, with dementia. So I diagnosed her as having a severe swallowing disorder, and I prescribed a feeding tube for her. What I didn't realize was that she, because she had dementia, she didn't know what was going on, so she wouldn't let the nurses put the feeding tube into her nose, and they had to hold her down, tie her down, and then just put it in. And as they were doing that, she was screaming her lungs out, and at that split second, I felt really guilty about it. I asked myself, am I killing her spirit even though I saved her life? So surely there must be more than this, there must be a way out of this. So that was really the hallmark moment in my career where I thought, I'm going to do something about it.
And so tell us about the journey you took to create a wonderful menu that I understand. Your top sellers are this laksa, but before I steal the thunder from you, tell us a little bit more about the journey and what have you created?
Okay, so when we first started, my partners and I imported Japanese elder-friendly food. So we say elder-friendly food because elder-friendly food is a class of its own. A lot of young people like us don't realize that when we grow older, our muscles change. People understand that, our muscles and our arms and legs get a bit weaker, maybe they get a bit more rigid, but the same thing happens in our mouth and also in our throat. Those muscles will change,
right, and
we lose our teeth as we get older. So eventually, all of us are going to have some form of a chewing or swallowing difficulty.
Right.
And we started looking into this area. We realized that it's not just people with medical conditions who needed special types of food, but every single senior citizen. So we started importing food from Japan, and over time we realized that our Singaporeans were craving for local favorites like laksa, like otah, and all sorts of things. So that's when we went into manufacturing, and we now have our own R&D team. We have a factory to do all of this in-house.
Wonderful. It's quite clear that you're looking at solutions that makes growing older more pleasant or being disabled.
Yes.
There's also the element where you have to shower in front of your caregiver.
Yes.
So we understand that this very elegant looking device here is your solution or your product that you brought in. Please share with us a little bit more about it.
This bathtub is called the Duty. And now, I'm not sure if you've ever been into a healthcare institution.
Yes.
So, people in the who live or are staying temporarily in a healthcare institution, they, a lot of them can't shower themselves. So they rely on nurses to do it for them. And unfortunately, nurses have to shower hundreds of people. So it's often a very rushed process. and it needs to be a very efficient process. So what happens is, the clothes are taken off, they're sitting on a chair, they're fully exposed, and then you've got the shower head directed at you and you're just being washed down. It's really quick and there's not much enjoyment in that. But showering is something that we do at the end of the day when we want to relax, when we want to wind down. So not only is it a very stressful experience, it's also a very, I would say, undignified one. Furthermore, a lot of falls actually happen in the bathroom because when we're seated on a very low-tech, flimsy shower chair, very often, the minute you're not stable or the minute you try to fidget around a little bit, you end up falling. So nurses are really stressed out about that because they're constantly thinking, this person's going to fall, I got to look out, this person's going to fall, I got to look out. And you need two people just to shower one person. So it's very intensive.
And that could be also why it makes the process such an undignified one, because the nurses just want to make sure you get out of there in peace, you're not on the floor.
Yeah. I mean, the user is in fear, and the nurses are also in fear constantly.
And it doesn't become a pleasant experience at all, because we're so used to being in a shower, singing, or something like that.
Precisely.
So
it's meant to be fun.
So we understand that this solution, which is like the Ferrari of bathtubs, has the ability to have the jacuzzi effect. So why don't you share us a little bit more about the special features about it?
So this bathtub has a wheelchair attached to the end of it.
Right.
You fetch the user, put that person on the wheelchair, and then tilt it. Now the minute you tilt it, it becomes really safe. And there's a very, very, very low chance of anyone actually falling off that tilted chair. After that, you push the wheelchair into the bathtub, the two pieces click, and they just, it's like transformers, they become one.
Yeah.
And you press a button, water comes out, and then you get that jacuzzi effect. You put in some soap, you get a bubble bath. Your whole body up to here is covered in bubbles. So you don't feel exposed at all. Even though you're naked, but nobody can see anything underneath. And you're just left alone to relax, to enjoy that experience.
And it's automated and nobody's washing you.
Nobody needs to wash you.
Then the other element which you're trying to address in terms of a problem or a need, unserved need, is mobility. So you too have the Ferrari of wheelchairs here.
We do.
Could you share this a bit more?
Okay, it's called the Will, and it's the world's first smart wheelchair. We're very excited to bring it in because now most people look at wheelchair. When you see a person on a wheelchair, immediately you think, okay, this person is disabled or he's a handicap. But that shouldn't be the case, because even if my legs are unable to transport me from place to place, a wheelchair enables me to do it. And if I can feel dignified sitting on one, then I'm no longer disabled. So the whole idea is to remove that stigma, of disability, and have wheelchair users feel like they're proud of sitting on a wheelchair, feel like they can be normal, feel like they can go out and have fun and still be cool. I think cool is really the word we're talking about here.
Right, but I think the wheelchair is really interesting, because you can pivot 360 degrees.
You can, very unique wheels, very small turning radius.
Even a lift.
Yes, exactly. So if you go into a tiny lift, like in Singapore's HDB flats, you don't have to inconvenience anybody. You just turn around like this and you get out.
Right.
You can also use an app to call the wheelchair to you, so you don't need someone to push it to you. And most importantly, you can dismantle it and put it at the back of your boot.
A lot of the ideas and the solutions that you talk about come from Japan. Is there a particular reason why this society has inspired you so much?
Yes. Well, Japan has a reputation for, really, really durable and very creative products. I always like to tell people, if you can't find it in Japan, it probably doesn't exist. Right. So I think it's their obsession with perfection. Their obsession about doing everything to the best of their ability, and then doing multiple iterations of it until they feel like, yes, this is good enough. It's really that push for always being better. And so when I sell my products, I do it with pride. I go to someone and I say, look, this is what I've got. Let me tell you all about it. And I'm never worried that that person is going to look at me and say, no, I don't think it's a good product. It never happens.
So I think it's really interesting because there are hundreds and thousands of products that you choose, but you only choose to focus on a few that can really move the benchmark in terms of how an individual might feel as they go through. Are you going to continue the philosophy of the business? Is it going to see your business through?
Definitely. So our focus is really not on selecting many different products, but really selecting the ones that are life-changing.
Right.
So if I look at it and I say this is not life-changing, I give it a miss. I think that's really the heart of it all, because that's what drives us. It's not easy selling these products because they take a lot of knowledge and a lot of intimate understanding of what an elderly person or a disabled person really feels and really goes through every single day. You need that sort of empathy to understand, and so it's a lot of work actually. So I only want to sell products that are worth it.
So in all honesty, Grace, we are so honored to be able to speak to you. You're the epitome of entrepreneur. You live and breathe the business. You probably have a degree in plumbing right now after having to explain.
No, but I've learned a lot.
You're actually a good role model to a lot of people out there who are trying to go into the space, and you're driven from an angle which is very personal. You want to make sure people who spend their final years in a dignified manner, eat what they love to eat, and not have to eat the same food 3 times a day, go away when they want to go, have dignity when they shower or when they leave themselves. So we wish you all the best in the business.
Thank you very much.
We hope that you're able to spread the gospel, because I think if you can bring more of what the Japanese do here, and if you can inspire us with the food that you create, we will be a much better society.
Thank you very much. Thank you for believing in me as well.
That's welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.